Good morning, beautiful people. I hope you all are thriving, not just surviving. I apologize for being a little bit later than normal. I still do not have my mic. Apparently, I ordered my mic and it didn't end up coming in the mail because the order got canceled. So currently figuring that out. Nevertheless, I'm super excited to be bringing you today's show. Y'all are incredible. Please make sure to send some likes. Where's my comb? Is my hair looking okay? I think it looks probably fine. But you know, I'm kind of digging this like rugged look. You know, I'm looking so masculine. Okay. I am single, so if you all are interested, you know, DM me, slide into those little suckers. So good morning, everyone. I hope you all are thriving, not just surviving. Yeah, there we go. So let's see. Yep, I have officially started here. No one has jumped in here, but that's okay. I totally get that. I mean, I was a little bit later, so it is what it is. It is what it is. So anyway, so we have a lot to talk about today, and I'm very, very excited to be bringing this to you all. And I mean, I've been trying to crank out content lately, so it's been an ordeal. And I also am coming to realize that not a lot of people tend to watch the streams after they're posted, which I'm gonna see why that is and see if I can figure that out. I'm wondering if part of it is because the graphics that I always have are horizontal instead of vertical for a vertical live stream. So nevertheless, I'm gonna see if maybe that's the reason. Not quite sure, but I see 3 people in here. Okay, cool. We've officially started then. All right. So hello. I appreciate every single one of you. Please make sure to say hello and where you're tuning in from. I do like to get to know new people when I get the chance. And let me know if you all end up liking this setup. I think I might keep it. I was initially thinking of trying to go horizontal. I still may, but I'm thinking of doing it just this way, at least for a little bit to test it out. Also, I think I'm going to turn this a little bit, or maybe I should shift over because I want my head to like be where the little line is there. Because I don't want you all to be blinded by my LED light. So anyway, how's everyone doing? So let me type in here. Hello. Please, let's see. Please, what's it? I'm gonna type in here. Please send some likes and share the stream. That's not how we spell stream, Scott. Actually, hold on. Come for the vibes. Stay for the news. If you, please send some likes. It greatly helps. That's not how I spell greatly. Helps the stream. If you are new, say hello and where you are tuning in from. Alrighty. There we go. Yay! I'm drinking some coffee this morning. I have it out of my Peace, Love, and Penguins mug, which I think is so cute. I love penguins. I'm not even gonna lie, I love penguins. I think that they are so fun. So, why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm not seeing anyone jumping in the chat here, but that's okay. I see 18 of you in here. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Let me make sure to click start recording here. Oh, girl. Okay. Ooh, honey. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm living for this. Karma at its finest. Where's my music? Hold on. That's what's missing. Where's my music? Okay. karma at its finest. I mean, don't tempt me with a good time. Don't tempt me with a good time, okay? You make your bed, Republicans, now you gotta lie in it. You voted for a rapist, expect to get effed, you know? Like, you know, I just love this for Republicans. I mean, you are getting exactly what you needed and what you deserved. And I guess what you wanted, because you wanted Donald Trump to be the leader of your own party. So when he says, I don't care about the midterms, to all those Republican politicians that is their top priority, they're like, I don't know about that. Inject it into my veins. I love it so much. Okay, so let's watch this here. All right. Please make sure to send some likes. I appreciate every single one of you. All right.
They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clout with their economies in free fall. They have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. And their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude to the midterms. People understand it. They know that. Very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I'm doing that for the world. I'm not doing it just for us. And we've had great support from other nations, by the way. We don't need it at all, but we've had great support from other nations. The problem is you always get the support when you don't need it. When you need it, you don't get the support. With Operation Epic Fury, our warriors are ensuring that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
Now, I'm going to play back the clip here. I want you to look at, what's his face? G.I. Joe Pete Hegseth. Secretary of War, Defense, whatever he wants to be today. Look at his face when Trump says, I don't care about the midterms.
They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clout.
Watch.
Their economies in free fall. They have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down.
Here we go.
They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night.
Did you see his face? He's like, oh, it's so good.
They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night.
He's like, I don't care about the midterms. And he's like, don't know how that's going to go over. He clearly, like, when you elect a clown to sit in the palace, expect a circus to come to town because, oh girl, Republicans, you made your bed, now you lie in it. And I'm sorry if it smells. I'm sorry if it's dirty. I'm sorry if it's stinky. I'm sorry if you have to deal with kind of trash. I mean, that's what you've done. Donald Trump is the ball and chain for these elected Republicans. And like, you know, sorry, you got to carry around that burden because girl, I find it hilarious. And of course, Marco Rubio is sitting here like the dope he is, being like, Donald Trump said he does not care what impact his unpopular war in Iran has on Republicans' chances in November midterm elections. The president held a cabinet meeting on Wednesday where he brushed aside concerns about the war, which is currently in a ceasefire, despite occasional exchanges of fire, which they are calling love taps. Not even gonna lie. Like, they're trying to call it love taps. A Fox News poll released last week shows that 64% of Americans believe that attacking Iran was the wrong decision. And meanwhile, 65% disapprove of Trump's handling on the issue. I can go through all of the excessive polling, and I have it up here to kind of bring it to you, that Trump's war in Iran, which apparently is not a war, but it's an excursion, but it's already over, but we've already won, but we don't need any help, but we would love some help if we wanted to, because the Strait of Hormuz is open, yet simultaneously closed, but we don't need any help opening it. But then also at the same time, we would love some help opening it, and it's like, what is going on? Meanwhile, Americans are getting fucked. I love that so much. So the Trump administration is engaged in ongoing talks with Iran and potentially ending the war, though every single time that they try to end the war, Trump apparently ends up bombing Iran again. It's like a cat It's like a cat. Like, he's constantly bombing Iran when the little mouse tries to get away. He's like, nope, come back, more bombing. Yet that mouse has what that cat wants. Because Iran is holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage, which is leading to oil supply going low, but demand staying high, and the price rises for our gasoline. And that's happening all over the world. Their Navy is gone, as I said 1,000 times. Trump reiterated Wednesday morning. Their Air Force is gone. Everything is gone. They're negotiating on fumes. Where are my hands? They're negotiating on fumes. Maybe we'll have to go back and forth and finish it. Trump went on to say that Iran's economy is teetering on the brink of collapse before digressing about the midterms. This is hilarious. Their economy is in free fall. They have 250% inflation. 250%. I truly don't know if that's true. Of course, it's coming from Donald Trump's mouth. It's 99.9% going to be a lie. Their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me, you know. We'll outweight him. He's got the midterms, you know. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. You know, that was a prelude to the midterms. People understand it. They know that they know that Iran simply cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is a perfect example of a drug dealer getting high off his own supply. Because Donald Trump is like, I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. He's referring to Tuesday night, by the way, which you had Ken Paxton ended up winning against John Cornyn in the Republican Senate race. Handily by 2/3. 2/3 people voted for Paxton, 1/3 voted for Cornyn. And that was because Paxton was endorsed by Trump. What I find hilarious is he's using that as his indicator for enthusiasm for a general election. That is, as someone who has a political science degree, that is such a miscalculation. A primary election is very different from a general election. Your primary election is between all of the people of your own same party. The enthusiasm amongst the people in your party are going to be high there to vote for their preferred candidate to face off against the opposing party. He's being like, I don't care. Look what happened last night. That's a prelude. No, honey. You engaging in that, thinking that that is going to be a sign of what the general election has to bring. Oh, honey, you are grossly miscalculating, because Democrats are very motivated to turn out against Republicans during this midterm election. So much so that we're anticipating a blue wave, we could see, not quite sure. Just to indicate how unpopular Donald Trump actually is, let's look at some polling about it. And I mean, I can show all of the numbers here. So I'm just going to point out Fox's Martha McCallum confronts Trump's Fox with awful poll number. What's his reaction to that? Of course, they're like, oh, Trump's doing amazing amongst people. Yeah, sure he is. Let me show you this. This is from the New York Times. Now, I don't subscribe to the New York Times. I don't have a paid subscription. I've already run out of my monthly limit on articles and all that crud. So, I currently do not have a subscription and cannot view it. But I want to show you what this is here. Trump's approval sinks amid unpopular war. So, this was, and let me make myself a little bit smaller here. Hold on. Hashtag streamer issues. Okay. So, what do you think? Or do you think Donald Trump's decision to go with I can't English. Do you think Donald Trump's decision to go with Iran? Linda! I can't English. Do you think Donald Trump's decision to go to war with Iran was the right decision or the wrong decision? This was the broken down poll. Now, before we get to the results, I want to point out this is based on a New York Times Siena College poll of 1,507 registered voters nationwide, conducted May 11th through May 15th. I don't know what the margin of error is. Usually it's around 2.5, 3 points. So take that with a grain of salt. Nevertheless, polls, you cannot politicize them. You cannot just embrace them when you like the result. You cannot throw them out when you don't. This, along with some of the other ones that I'm going to point out here, broadly show that Trump's war in Iran is incredibly unpopular, which is leading to a lack of enthusiasm amongst Republicans down ballot, which will then lead to a likely blue wave in the upcoming 2026 midterm elections. So, do you think Donald Trump's decision to go to war with Iran was the right or wrong decision? Among all respondents, only people who said right decision was 30%. That's bad. That's bad. A third, actually under a third, are saying that. Meanwhile, 2/3 of Americans, broadly speaking, are like, yeah, it was a bad decision. Bad decision here. Now, of course, when you separate it out by political affiliation, of course, you have Democrats saying that it's way worse decision, wrong decision there, 93%. Whereas then you have independents roughly saying around 3/4 of them saying 73%, yeah, it was the wrong decision. Even a contingent of Republicans, and credit to them, almost a fourth are like, yeah, it was the wrong decision. Now, that's not going to stop them from then approving of Donald Trump or something like that. But, you know, at least they're acknowledging that it was the wrong decision. So there's that there. There's that. I also want to point out this here today. I want to point out this. More Americans disapprove of Trump's handling of the situation in Iran. This is an Economist YouGov poll from May 15th through May 18th of 2026. I do not know what the margin of error is. I don't know how many people were surveyed. Usually, again, it's around 2 to 3% of all of this. So you can see more Americans disapprove than approve of Trump's handling of the situation in Iran. This poll found that out of all United States citizens, only around 31%, so close to the 30% in the previous, say they strongly or somewhat approve of the situation of Trump's handling of it in Iran. Whereas you have 59, close to 60%, which is close to the previous number of 64% in the other one. So, of course, you have varying degrees of, you know, what they've collected here. But you can see the broad trend. Around Democrats, you see around 92% say that they strongly or somewhat disapprove. Among independents, it was at 62%. So not quite up to that 3/4 mark, but definitely 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 independents. And then roughly a fourth of Republicans. So that's actually a little bit higher in this Economist YouGov poll than the previous. But nevertheless, you can see here that someone said, okay, wait, pause. If you're watching this back as a video, I'm sorry, the live chat replay, you can go and watch it. But if you're watching this back after I posted the video, I want to point out a comment to you. There's this one mouth breather in the chat that says polls are establishment globalist propaganda. Sorry, as someone who studied political science, I just found that hysterical. You're like, they're not real. They're not real. Oh, honey, your copium is embarrassing. Your copium is so embarrassing. As someone who studied the way that these polls are conducted statistically and mathematically, I find that hysterical. You're like, that's not real because I don't like it. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Look, I'm not here to hold your hand and process all your cognitive dissonance because you don't like the results of a poll, all right? You know, I'm sorry, but, you know, that's not my worry, not my burden to bear. And it's not just this. So Donald Trump is incredibly unpopular, just all around. And, you know, he says that he doesn't care about the midterms. Well, the midterms clearly care about him. So that's what's going to be interesting here. And you can also see a majority of Americans also really don't like what Donald Trump is doing regarding the economy. And also, a majority of Americans say Donald Trump is using his office for personal gain. And not gonna lie, that also includes, some Republicans. Credit to them for at least saying it. Nevertheless, I don't see why you then continue to support that. Like, why? Why would you support putting someone in a position of power that's going to personally profit off the office? Yet it's like they're so afraid of a woke Democrat, someone who supports the rights for all people. Like, your hatred is embarrassing if it wasn't so terrifying. A majority of Americans say that Donald Trump is using his office for personal gain. Among U.S. citizens, you have around 6 in 10, close to 6 in 10 respondents then say, yes, he's using it for personal gain. 30% say no, so 3 in 10. I found that wild, that out of all of the evidence of endless amounts of corruption, that people are like, no, he's not using it for personal gain. I could give you 5 ways Donald Trump is using his office for personal gain. You want to hear them right now? Number 1, deregulating cryptocurrency and launching his own crypto coin and crypto firm, World Liberty Financial. His actions has deregulated the cryptocurrency industry. He has dissolved task forces to then investigate cryptocurrency corruption, launches his own crypto coin, and he's made so much money doing that. Number 2, so Donald Trump still owns a whole bunch of hotels and properties. He has not put them in a blind trust. He has put them in a negotiable trust or whatever. I don't remember the specific term, but what he's put it in a trust, revocable. He's put it in a revocable trust where he's still managing it. So he's still managing all of the Trump properties and Trump organization while also still being president. Meaning that every single time he uses his office as president and spends time at his golf courses at his properties, he's taking money from U.S. taxpayer dollars and putting it into his own pocket. How is that not seen as corruption? Number 3, he has been betting and engaging with prediction markets. So prediction markets have exploded under the presidency. And there's been a lack of regulation on those crypto markets. His own son, Donald Trump Jr., sits on as a strategic advisor on the board of like Kalshi and Polymarket. And the Trump family has been making billions of dollars in regards to prediction markets on things that Donald Trump can actualize. So that's crazy. Number 4, he has an even bigger platform to sell his merchandise to his mouth breather like cultists. So he's using his office for personal enrichment in that way, and also taking foreign bribes and emoluments without the consent of Congress. Do I need to remind you that he literally took a $400 million plane from Qatar? And of course, you know, our Constitution says that you can't take foreign bribes and emoluments without getting consent from Congress. Yet he's like, I don't care about that. You know, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it. It's going to be fantastic. Everyone's going to love it. Like, that's just 5 ways off the top of my head that Donald Trump is profiting from the presidency. Nevertheless, there are 3 in 10 people who say that Trump is not doing it, despite all of the evidence out there. I could do live streams. I've done them in the past on just how Donald Trump has made a whole bunch of money off the office. Nevertheless, you have in here breaking it down by party ID. Of course, Democrats are like, yeah, he's using his office for personal gain. And so when he then goes on and says, I don't care about the midterms, I'm like, ooh, inject that into my veins. Inject it into my veins. But credit to these, almost 2 in 10 Republicans are like, yeah, he is using it for personal gain. Now, is that going to stop them from supporting him? No. They probably think that it's an asset in some way. Identification as non-MAGA Republicans. You see non-MAGA Republicans are, more of them are saying, yes, he's using it for personal gain. Who is a non-MAGA Republican these days? Like, there's so few. Anyway. And of course, you know, when Trump says he doesn't care about the midterms, that also should set off alarm bells in all these Republican politicians' ears because, you know, the cost of living has been going up and up and up, and he doesn't seem to care about the cost of living. So, I mean, looking at this here... Percent saying your cost of living is off on the wrong track. Your cost of living is off on the wrong track. Oh, okay. So they're saying that, yeah, it's on the wrong track here. And then also percent strongly or somewhat disapprove of Trump's handling of your cost of living. Yeah, been going up and up and up. So, and Republican support on cost of living has been falling. So ever since this Iran war situation, you can see that, you can see that it's been falling. You see here around, let's see, this is February. This is February, right when the conflict starts. It's had its ebbs and flows, and it keeps going up. There was a brief dip here, I think, when they had the ceasefire. And then it's obviously not been holding, so it keeps going up. So, gotta love that. Gotta love that. Oh, and the big one. Is the U.S. economy getting better or worse? You can see that a lot of people are looking at this here and saying getting worse. How in the world did all these people think that it was getting better in 2025? I do not know. I do not know. I think those were all the Trump supporters still high on the copium. Still high on the copium there. Anyway, so when Donald Trump says he doesn't care about the midterms, I just love it so much. Okay, let me circle around with this segment again. Please make sure to send some likes if you're enjoying the live stream. If you're also new here, make sure to say hello and where you're tuning in from. So let me cover this again. Donald Trump literally on, what was it, yesterday said, I don't care about the midterms. I don't care about them. No, not that. No, bad ideas. I just found it hilarious. I saw, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give you a personal story. I saw this article while, don't hate me, I went to Subway yesterday and had a whole foot-long sandwich, okay? I saw this when I ordered my sub and I sat in my car and I opened up news and I saw this and I was like, oh, I love this. This is, this is a vibe here. Eating a Subway sandwich in my car, reading the news where Trump says, I don't care about the midterms. I'm not gonna lie, I was having a good time. So let me play the video for you here because this is just too good. And I'm actually going to play the video for starting like right here.
Goff and Jared, they're doing a good job, but right now I think it looks like they want to just make a deal. They have. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clout with their economy.
He's talking about Iran. He's like, oh yeah, they're going back to the internet. Dude, that's what you do on your Truth Social.
In free fall, they have 250% inflation.
Iran has 250% inflation. This is a guy who says that he's lowered drug prices by 1,500, 1,600, 1,700%. So what that would mean, and I'm sorry, I'm not good with numbers, but at least I can understand that if you lower something by that much money, you're basically paying people to take drugs, which would not be outside of Trump's wheelhouse.
Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude to the midterms. People understand it. They know that, very simple, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
He's high on his own supply. He's high on his own supply. He saw what happened in a Republican primary runoff election as an indicator for a general election. Now, you might not be the most politically astute and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Let me tell you why it doesn't make sense. A primary election is very different from a general election, okay? A primary election is between candidates of the same party, okay? You have those voters of that party that are very motivated to turn out for their specific Republican or Democrat, okay? Then the general election is when they go against each other and run as opposing political parties. He's saying that the primary election between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton, who he endorsed Ken Paxton, even though John Cornyn literally wrote an effing bill to rename a highway after Trump, it still wasn't enough. And Ken Paxton is clearly incredibly fraudulent. Like, he has been indicted on felony and securities fraud, and also has had controversial relationships with women, and his wife apparently has already filed for divorce because of infidelity and stuff like that. And Trump is like, let me endorse the more corrupt person. You know, I see myself a little bit in you, Kenny G, Kenny P. I see some stuff in you. Like, you know, you're an incredible person. Anyway, so he's basically saying that, you know, because of the primary runoff race that he's like, yeah, that's preconditions on what's to come. Oh, honey, you are so wrong. So wrong. Oh my God, injected into my veins.
I'm doing that for the world. I'm not doing it just for us. And we've had great support from other nations, by the way. We don't need it at all, but we've had great support from other nations. The problem is you always...
Now, one other thing I want to point out in this clip here, and just look, just watch G.I. Joe, what's his face? Why am I forgetting it? Pete Hegseth. Just watch his facial reaction to when Trump says, I don't care about midterms.
In free fall, they have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night.
You had Pete Hegseth go like... Oh, bless him. Bless him. Let's read some comments here. Let's read some comments here about it. Hold on. Let me scroll all the way through because I prepared a lot of stuff. Okay. It says, I don't care about the midterms. I love this so much. Hold on. Why is my screen frozen? Why does it do this to me? Hold on.
Economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight.
I find it hilarious because this is what it is giving. This is what it's giving. Scared to sever the ball and chain to liberate themselves from the MAGA dead weight. Again, Republicans, you made your bed, you lie in it. You wanted Donald Trump, you elected a rapist, expect to get effed. I mean, Trump is going to destroy the Republican Party, and look, I don't care. You brought this on yourself. Karma, bitch. Like, okay. You know, sorry, you know, when you elect a clown, when you elect a jester to the palace, expect a circus to come to town. Okay. And so, you know, and it's so funny because these like elected Republicans in the House of Representatives and in the Senate are obviously their top priority is re-election. And that's also regardless, let's be fair, regardless of your political affiliation, if you're an elected representative, your top priority, none of them like to admit it, is re-election. Maintaining the fact that you have a job, that job security, having that position. And you could say that for even really, really good politicians. And so a top priority for anyone in a position of power is re-election. So when the leader of your own party says, I don't care about the midterms, basically being like, I don't care about your re-election, that's bad. I mean, when Trump says, I don't care about the midterms, it also makes you think and speculate, okay, what does he have up his sleeve? What is he intending to do? Is he not worried because him and his cronies are trying to gerrymander America right now? Redraw the maps to then skew representation even further for white Republican men? Disenfranchise people of color, women, people of minorities, you know, especially in southern states. My home state of North Carolina is already gerrymandered, even though we are very much a half and half state. We have a Democratic governor that won pretty handily. So, I mean, and we are a state that tends to vote for Trump. I don't like that, but it is what it is. And I find it astounding because, you know, Trump's saying that he doesn't care about, you know, Republicans and politicians. And yet those Republican politicians have to literally lick his feet. They have to shove their face right up his behind in order to then get anything. I mean, it's humiliating. Being a Republican politician is like a full-time job where you have to cuck yourself out and like in order to then curry favor of a whiny billionaire that rage types on Truth Social at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, that's really what it turns into. And then these people have the audacity to claim that anyone who has adversity regarding their, like, their identity as being LGBTQ, like myself, as somehow snowflakes, when you're the one that really gets your whole panties in a wad when your leader does not endorse you. Like, girl. Now, I want to also watch this here.
And what are we talking about? We're talking about a complete collapse of the floor. Look at this. Republicans' net approval of Trump on inflation. You know, you go back when he was running for re-election back in 2024 for term number 1. Look at that net approval rating. It was plus 68 points in terms of how Republicans viewed inflation and Trump at term number 1. Look at this. Look at this. Collapse. Minus 5 points. Now, this is just the Ipsos polling. I will note.
It's their fetish? No, it's their fetish, not that. If we lost the midterms, heaven forbid, it would be the end of the Trump presidency in real effect. Oh, no, not that. We don't want that. Trump only cares about himself. He only cares about himself. He doesn't care about anyone else. You know, Republicans, you wanted this guy. You wanted to put him as the leader of your party. You expect it to just dissolve in real time. It's also funny because this is apparently what he said back in January 6th. You got to win the midterms because if we don't win the midterms, they're going to find a reason to impeach me. I'm impeached. Hopefully removed.
But you got to win the midterms because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Why is he whispering? I'm uncomfortable. Lol. Let's see. Yeah, I will burn the country to the ground to save my own ass. Honestly, Trump would do that. Trump would absolutely do that. Trump, yeah, well, I mean, yeah. He doesn't care because he'll be in the ground. Oh, we can only dream. We can only dream. Come on, little blood clot, move a little bit faster. I don't wish negative things upon people, but when you are someone that has done so much damage to other people, so much damage, especially with this ICE Gestapo ripping families apart, I'm sorry, I want that blood clot. That little blood clot, come on. We need the little engine blood clot that could, okay? Why not care about the midterms? Trump already knows the outcome, A. Or B, Trump is putting measures in place where the outcome of the midterms does not matter, like gerrymandering. Yeah, would not be surprised there. A comforting remark from Trump for all Republicans seeking re-election in the midterms. DJT has repeatedly demonstrated that he does not give a crap about the overwhelming majority of individuals, both in the U.S. and around the world. He truly does not care. He does not care. Republican lawmakers in Congress should promptly initiate impeachment proceedings against Trump and seek his removal before the midterm elections and certainly before 2028, given that he is systematically undermining many of them. However, it is unlikely that they will take such action. I don't know if DW is standing for Daily Wire. That would be interesting. Just like he don't care about you. Yeah, 100%. And when it comes down to it, you know, it's just Donald Trump doesn't care about anything other than himself. And Republicans, you made your bed, now you lie in it. Sorry it stinks. Sorry it's full of trash. Sorry the bed is falling apart. All the cushion is gone. Sorry, you made your bed, now you lie in it. You vote for a rapist, expect to get effed. Like, you know, just saying. I don't care about the Republican Party. I don't care about affordability. I don't care about the Constitution. I don't care about ethics. Wait, Jimmy Kimmel said what about me? If we lost the midterms, it would be the end of the Trump presidency, said Mike Johnson. Yeah, well, you know, Trump doesn't care about the midterms. Did you not know? Why does my screen keep freezing? Hello? Oh, geez, Louise. Hashtag streamer issues. Okay. Let's see. Yep, I've already gone through all of that. Love that so much. It was the fuck aroundest of times. It was the find outest of times. He doesn't care because he's not on the ballot. You know, that's also very fair. He's like, I don't care about the midterms. Yeah, because you're not on the ballot, dude. The GOP is finished, over with toast, so we might as well just accept it and get ready to be lame duck soon. Now I wanna explain that. A lame duck presidency means that the opposing political party has then taken control of the other chambers of government. So when you have like a Democratic president and then the House shifts over to being majority Republican and the Senate going over to a majority Republican, that becomes a lame duck session, meaning that very little is likely to get passed by the government. Very little legislation or action is likely to then come to fruition. Right now, I will point out that we have a Republican House, we have a Republican Senate, a Republican President, and a Republican Supreme Court. From my knowledge, we've only passed one bill. From my knowledge, we've literally passed like only one bill, which was further tax cuts for the wealthy. Nothing else. Nothing else. And we've already covered all of those polls there, but I also let's dive into this a little bit further on Trump's character, because when Donald Trump says, and that's the theme of today's live stream, Donald Trump says that he does not care about the midterm elections. Don't threaten me with a good time, you know? Don't threaten me with a good time. You can tell that I'm really living for this because, you know, just when you elect a clown, expect a circus. When you put a jester in the palace, expect for some clownery to happen. Like, it's gotta happen. MAGA keeps whining. Oh, in the chat here. I'm not even really looking at the chat. I'm sorry. Have there been any new people that have joined this morning? Have there been any new people that have joined today? I appreciate every single one of you. We got 59 people in here. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. So let's also just go and talk about some of Trump's like recent comments just regarding, he says, okay. Let me state this over again. Hold on. Okay. So when Donald Trump says that he doesn't care about the midterm elections, I mean, no, not that. That's a bad idea. You know, we don't want that. Don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time. He's like, I don't care about the midterm elections. Don't care about them. Probably because, you know, he's not on the ballot, so he's not going to care. He doesn't care about the chances of other elected Republicans. I don't care either about, you know, them running for re-election. You know, Donald Trump is the ball and chain for the elected Republicans that exist within Congress, for the Senate and the House. I mean, when you tether your party to a RAPIST, you know, when you put a rapist in government, expect to get effed, you know, just saying. And it really just goes into Donald Trump's character. You know, he doesn't care about anyone other than himself. He really doesn't. He only views other people as a means to an end to then support him. He doesn't have any empathy for anyone else. I don't even know why Melania would have married someone like him. So when Donald Trump says also that he doesn't care about people's financial situations, you know, that really goes into his character. He does not care. He does not care about anyone other than himself. This was something that he said recently in regards to the Iran war. You know, Trump on Iran war. To what extent are Americans' financial situation motivating you to make a deal? Trump, not even a little bit. I need my hands. Not even a little bit. I do not think about Americans' financial situation at all. Not even a little bit. I'll play you the clip. It's hard to hear.
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about...
Also, if you really cared about Iran not having a nuclear weapon, then why did you tear up the Iran nuclear deal? That was literally stopping Iran from having a nuclear weapon, you fool! It was already working! You had excessive surveillance of Iran to then not build a nuclear weapon, and you tore it up. So you want Iran not to have a nuclear weapon, then why in the world did you tear up the agreement that was stopping that from happening? God, he's such a clown. Such a clown! So, of course, he doesn't care about anyone but himself. And so, you know, he's like, I don't think about it. I don't think about people's financial situation, not even a little bit. Yeah, we can tell. Not the biggest fan of Ruben Gallego. He's too moderate for me, but he at least said it. He's like, yeah, we can tell. Representative Yvette Clarke was like, yeah, no crap. Love that. Love that. Nancy Pelosi, has it ever been clear that Donald Trump doesn't care about you? As he said, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Representative Jerry Nadler, in a rare moment of clarity, Donald Trump told the truth. He does not care about America's financial struggles. Representative Brittany Peterson, for once, Trump tells the truth. He doesn't care about the well-being of the American people and never did. Yeah, Trump in his own words, I don't care about Americans' financial situations. I don't think about anybody. He genuinely said, I don't think about anybody in that. Hold on.
I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody.
New government data show inflation.
Genuinely, he said, I don't think about anybody. I'm like, what? How am I supposed to, like, Democratic ad markers, makers are bookmarking this. Put this clip in every Democratic ad across the country, says Harry Sisson. Ron Filipkowski, this should be in every Democratic ad. 100% it should be. Another absolutely horrendous quote that will be shoved down Republicans' throats during the 2026 midterms. Not the throats. Yeah. So, not even a little bit. Trump does not care if you can afford groceries or gas. And, it shows in the polling data. It shows. People do not like what's happening with our economy. The tariffs are ruining things. The fact that our cost of living continues to go up. Gas prices are continuing to go up because of the Iran war that he started. I mean, even Republican support Republican support of Trump on cost of living has been falling. And, you know, more frustration as cost of living continues to grow. People are recognizing that Trump's using his office for his own personal gain. And the situation in Iran is not improving things and continues to get worse. We started this war back on February 28th. And we kept hearing 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Where are we now? 2 months later. And we still don't have an end. I mean, it's humiliating. And Donald Trump does not care. He doesn't care. So, of course, Trump's disapproval rating hits the highest level in second term. People disapprove of it. And, you know, credit to them. Also, this is the same guy who says that affordability is a con job made up by the Democrats. Remember this moment? It doesn't mean anything. Where are my hands? It doesn't mean anything. Affordability is a made-up, woke, communist, Marxist, socialist term made up by the Democrats. It's a con job.
And, you know, there's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. You just say it. Affordability. I inherited the worst inflation in history. There was no affordability. Nobody could afford anything. The prices were massively high. Do you remember?
How in the world is this guy our president? He says affordability is a con job. Like, girl.
Took over eggs. You did a great job on that, Madam Secretary. Agriculture, Brooke. Eggs were 4 or 5 times higher than they had ever been. They said
that was because of the bird flu, if you were not familiar.
Don't order eggs for Easter at the White House. And we ended up doing it, and we got the egg prices way down, lower than what they were before. But the word affordability is a con job by the Democrats. They say affordable. I watched the other day where some very low IQ congresswoman talked about affordability. She had no idea. Their prices were much higher. As an example, energy, gasoline.
Affordability is a con job by the Democrats. What's hilarious is Donald Trump also then ended up saying that he is the president of affordability. Hold on. I'm just remembering this moment now. Hold on. Give me a second. Trump says he is the affordability president. Yeah, so so affordability is a con job by the Democrats, right? But then he also won affordability. Okay, I don't know how you can win affordability. I wasn't quite sure if that was like a game of Monopoly where you end up having a winner. You win affordability. Can you win clarity? Can you win honesty? Like, just imagine, I won honesty. I won it. Everyone said I won honesty. Like an award. Where's my trophy, Linda? Susie! Susie's his chief of staff. But like, you say you won affordability, yet it's also a con job by the Democrats? So wait, hold on. Like, how does that work? How does that work? What is this song? Hold on. Sorry, let me change that. How do you even go about this? How do you even go saying affordability is a con job by the Democrats and then you say you won affordability?
And then I have to listen to the fake news talking about affordability. Affordability. You notice, what word have you not heard over the last 2 weeks? Affordability. Because I've won. I've won affordability. I had to go out and talk about it. But
if you are a MAGA person, how do you look at this and think that it's consistent? He says affordability is a con job by the Democrats. He said that December 2nd of 2025. Okay? Then, a couple months later, says that he won affordability. So he's bragging about winning a term that was a con job. And then, also simultaneously, now has admitted that he does not care about affordability at all. That he doesn't care about people's financial situation. Not even one bit. I don't care about anybody. Says I don't care about the midterms. I don't care. He doesn't care about anything other than himself. And yet there are people who still like endlessly cuck and support him. Look, let me just say this to MAGA outright, okay? You are in a one-sided toxic affair with a whiny billionaire who rage types at 3 a.m. online. You're in a toxic, unrequited, loving affair with someone who will take endless amounts of money from you, who makes you buy endless amounts of flags, endless amounts of shirts, endless amounts of hats, a Trump figurine poster to go in your living room that you kiss when you walk through the door. I mean, you are in a one-sided toxic relationship with Donald Trump. You are in a cult. I'm sorry if that is inconvenient, causes you some cognitive dissonance, but trust me, he doesn't care about you. When you elect a rapist, expect to get effed. I'm sorry that it's the blue-haired, they, them, liberals, progressives, independents with a nose ring that end up telling you that you are being a victim of a whiny billionaire in America who doesn't care about you at all, who fooled you into saying no new wars, then goes and starts a war. It's not my fault. Pointing out the inconsistencies, the lack of logic, the deductive reasoning that shows that he is a fraud. He is a con man. Always has been. Okay? Don't get mad at me for pointing it out, girl. Like, yes, I am limp-wristed, as someone pointed in the chat. Get mad. Stay mad. Ooh. Anyway, it's not like I just, mic drop. Nevertheless, it goes on because this was not even the wildest thing. Trump says, we can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We're fighting wars. It's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these things. Because we're fighting wars. Wars that he started!
because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare.
Who started that war, Donald? Who started that war? You fool! Who started that war? Donald Trump is the living embodiment of a clump of shower drain hair. Has no use whatsoever. He is just a scourge on society.
You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal.
It's like, we can't take care of daycare, but we sure as hell can build ballrooms. Oh, he's so out of touch. He's so out of touch. He has dementia. Oh yeah. No new wars. Right. Oh my god. His daddy instilled that cruelty. What? Oh, like Trump's dad? Yeah. I find it astounding that he says no new wars and then turns around and does a war. I mean, this has been the position of essentially every modern U.S. president. Trump is the only one crazy enough to admit it out loud. I mean, you're saying, yeah, I mean, there's maybe some truth in that, but also at the same time, don't water it down like Trump is every other president, okay? LOL, didn't Marco Rubio yesterday say that something along the lines that Iran spends billions of dollars on missiles and weapons instead of the well-being of the Iranian people? Yeah. So it's so funny. It's so funny that also Iran, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, imagine if instead of spending billions of dollars on weapons, Iran spent that money on its own people. They'd have a much different country. He's so close to like an intelligent thought that it's actually humiliating that he has not gotten there yet. Because how can you say that and not have any self-awareness to realize that you need to take that advice? Yeah, facts. I've been saying this all along. Saying that all along. And so Donald Trump clearly does not care about anyone, which again, does not shock or surprise me because he says he doesn't care about the midterms. Doesn't care about the midterms. I'm sure that a lot of Republican politicians surely care about the midterms, but again, you made your bed, you lie in it. The ball and chain Republicans, this is what you did. This is what Trump is to you. Okay, sorry that you're having to deal with it. Not my fault. If y'all are enjoying the live stream, please make sure to send some likes. I love all of you. Please make sure to send some likes if you are enjoying the stream. Also, if you are new, say hello and where you are tuning in from. Let's see. Yay! Alrighty, we have a lot still to get to, so bear with me here. Let's see. Clip that. Oop, boop, 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 boop. Where were we? All right. Let's diverge into another segment here. Please make sure to send some likes. We have 37 people in here. Y'all are awesome. All right. So, let's talk about Tulsi Gabbard. Let's talk about J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard. There has been some shakeups. There has been some drama recently that has been happening amongst staff changes in the White House. So, Tulsi Gabbard is our current, well now former, Director of National Intelligence. She decided to resign recently, according to her, stepping down to then be ailing with her husband, who has been diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer. So she is claiming that that's the reason for her resignation, though it's also likely a culmination of several other things that I'll talk about. So Tulsi Gabbard to resign as U.S. National Intelligence Director. This did not get major news, but yet it is a big deal because Tulsi Gabbard was someone who was very non-interventionist. She said no new wars, no new wars. The fact that Donald Trump ended up starting a war and now she's stepping down. I mean, it's fascinating because it really shows that Donald Trump is truly committed to being a warmonger. And of course, I'm not surprised. But, you know, when you expect a rapist, expect to be effed. Tulsi Gabbard will resign from her position as the U.S. Director of National Intelligence in the Trump administration. This happened on Friday, citing her husband's recent bone cancer diagnosis. And U.S. President Donald Trump wrote in a social media post that Gabbard had done an incredible job and we will miss her. Yet, I feel like that's a little bit far to stretch, mainly because Tulsi Gabbard was constantly saying that we don't need to be at war with Iran. And Trump at one point said, I don't care what she said. Her resignation is effective as of June 30th. Aaron Lucas, the principal deputy director, will step in as acting director. Gabbard, a loyal supporter of Trump during his 2024 presidential campaign, was confirmed as one of the most powerful figures in U.S. intelligence gathering weeks after he returned to the White House. But this year, she has largely been out of public view as the U.S. took military action against Iran, put pressure on Cuba, and notably removed Venezuela's president. Illegally, I might add. Gabbard is the fourth member of Trump's cabinet to depart his second administration after Lori Chavez de Remer left her position as labor secretary in April. Also, Homeland Secretary, Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Attorney General Pam Bondi both left the administration earlier this year. Women are fleeing the Trump administration. I wonder who the next person is going to be. Is that going to be Brooke Rollins, Department Secretary of Agriculture? Is it going to be Susie Wiles as Chief of Staff? Who is the next woman that is going to leave? Trump said Gabbard rightfully wants to be with him, bringing him back to good health, etc. Though, during her political career, she has positioned herself as an anti-interventionist when it came to foreign wars, creating tension after Trump decided to attack Iran based on what Israel wanted. Following U.S.-Israeli airstrikes, she avoided endorsing the decision, carefully evading questions during a congressional hearing in March about whether the administration knew of the conflict's potential fallout. She also faced scrutiny during questioning over Democrats' perceived discrepancies between the White House and Intelligence Committee claims about Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity. Last year, Trump appeared to dismiss Gabbard's declaration before Congress. She testified in March of 2025, saying that Iran was not seeking to build a nuclear weapon. And, I mean, she said, I don't care what... And this is what Trump said in response. I don't care what she said. I don't care. I think that they were very close to having a nuclear weapon. He has repeatedly cited Iran's nuclear capacity as a reason for the U.S. war with Iran. Gabbard's departure comes 2 months after her top aide, former National Counterterrorism Center Director Joe Kent, left the administration over the war in Iran, urging the president to reverse course. Following Kent's resignation, Gabbard publicly backed Trump's decision in Iran, saying that as commander-in-chief, the president was responsible for determining what was and what was not an imminent threat. Now, this is where Tulsi Gabbard is being a coward. And I'm sorry, I don't like to say that, but nevertheless, it's true. Tulsi Gabbard went before Congress and said that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon. She said that Iran was enriching uranium for research purposes, but according to her as Director of National Intelligence, that there was no reason to believe that Iran was using that to build a nuclear weapon. All right? So, important to point that out there. Now, of course, a lot of senators decided to disregard what she said, but she made it pretty clear that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. Trump's own Director of National Intelligence. Trump decides to then say, well, I don't care what she said. I don't care. Hold on, where was I? Where was I? I don't care what she said. Okay, interesting. Then, later on, Joe Kent decides to leave the administration because his wife died in this in a previous war or something like that. And, you know, that's signaling the people who are the most anti-interventionist are leaving the administration, meaning that we're likely to be at war with Iran for a long time, which is very unpopular, where, again, Donald Trump doesn't care about the midterms. You know, he doesn't care about the midterms. He said it outright recently. And he doesn't care that his war in Iran is incredibly unpopular, even amongst some Republicans. Nevertheless, you know, he wants to bomb and blow some crap up. He's going to get what he wants because he's a wannabe dictator. Nevertheless, Gabbard publicly backed Trump's decision in Iran, saying that as commander-in-chief, the president was responsible for determining what was and what was not an imminent threat. This is where it gets to my comment earlier about her being a coward. She ends up delivering all of this intelligence to show that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump decides to then completely ignore that and say, based on a hunch, that Iran is. Imagine going to war over a feeling. Over a feeling. That's where we are. Trump decides, I don't like Iran, and per the request of Israel, let's blow them up. Let's blow some of them up. Blow, boom, boom, pow, bing, bing, bang, bang, boom. Decides to launch a war, and Iran is holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage, leading to gas prices skyrocketing. Nevertheless, she decides to stand behind it and say, you know, it's my job to give him all the intelligence. It's not my job for him to determine what is and what is not in the best interest of the American people. Except, as director of the national intelligence, yes, it is. It is your job to give the president, be an advisor, and also strongly condemn him when he is going against intelligence that you've gathered. So she decides to be like, well, Donald Trump is just deciding. She's using her words very carefully to not point out and put herself in a position of hypocrisy, but she's also putting herself in a position of cowardice, because she is instead of condemning him for obvious contradictions, instead of pointing out the insanity of his decisions, she's deciding to be like, well, I gave him the information. It's not my fault what he does with it. Except you are a part of the administration. It is your job to speak up. It is your job to be at that table and say, no, this is not a good idea, which she may have said behind closed doors, but do it publicly. I would have way more respect for Tulsi Gabbard if she, as the director of national intelligence, started really pushing back against Trump. No, she didn't do it. She decides to step aside, and probably in some capacity stepping aside because of her husband's cancer diagnosis, but it's also pretty cowardly because you're doing the right thing, but for the wrong reason. And I just think that any politician, regardless of political affiliation, when they do that, it makes me sick to my core. It makes me sick to my core. You know, and Tulsi Gabbard resigns, and, you know, this all here is just because she didn't want the Trump stench on her, but also it should have been her job to push back as much as she could. She said, it's not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and what is not an imminent threat. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is your job to compile all the information, advise the president, and say this is or this is not important. So her hiding behind it is so cowardly. It's so scummy. And let's briefly talk about Tulsi Gabbard, okay? Here's the thing. Oh my God, go away ads. Hold on, sorry, just a second. Okay, here's the thing. Tulsi Gabbard said that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon. And she also was she was like, yeah, this is not happening. Let me, hold on. Where is it? Hold on, give me a second. Also, Tulsi Gabbard is a huge, huge hypocrite here, okay? Look at this.
Here are the steps that Donald Trump has taken to create a war with Iran.
This was back in 2019.
First, he tore up the Iran nuclear agreement.
I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
Second, he has escalated crippling sanctions against Iran.
The sanctions kicking in at midnight Sunday target Iran's oil exports, banking, and ship, even though UN inspectors say Iran is still complying with the nuclear deal.
The United States will pursue additional sanctions tougher than ever before.
Third, he designated Iran's military as a terrorist organization.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has announced that the U.S. is designating the Iranian Revolutionary Guard as a terror group.
Today, the United States is continuing to build its maximum pressure campaign against the Iranian regime. I'm announcing our intent to designate the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, including its Quds Force, as a foreign terrorist organization.
With this terror designation, the U.S. can sanction pretty much anybody who talks to or deals with or has any business whatsoever with the IRGC.
And fourth, he continues to deploy more more and more U.S. troops to the region.
Well, just moments ago, the Pentagon authorized an additional 1,000 American troops to the Middle East in response to growing concerns over Iran.
The Trump administration announced yesterday that a U.S. aircraft carrier and a bomber task force are being sent to areas closer to Iran.
Yes, there will indeed be hell to pay. Let my message today be very clear. We are watching, and we will come after you.
We've got to stop Donald Trump from starting a war with Iran. I'm asking you to join me and support my legislation, the No More Presidential Wars Act. To qualify for the third presidential debate and make sure that...
Honey. She was spitting facts there. This is when she was running as a Democrat in the 2020 primary. She was spitting facts. Then she completely cucks herself to Donald Trump, decides to betray all of that, becomes director of national intelligence, and decides to, I guess, try and stop a war with Iran, except Trump does it anyway. And now she's stepping aside being like, I'm going to stand by my husband because of his cancer diagnosis. Sure, that might be part of it. But I mean, it is your job as director of national intelligence. Credit to her for being appointed by Trump in that position. That was a good move. But also at the same time, now you're deciding to then back down when times get hard, oppose the president on this. Come out swinging. But no. Seriously, she could have, if she decided to then really go against Donald Trump in this Iran war, she could have literally made a whole career for herself. She could have lined herself up to then being a hopeful. But no, she decided to do the cowardly thing. So she was right here when she was pointing out all these things. Then she turns around and does this. Hold on.
Iran continues to seek expansion of its influence in the Middle East, despite the degradation to its proxies and defenses during the Gaza conflict. Iran has developed and maintains ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and UAVs, including systems capable of striking U.S. targets and allies in the region. Tehran has shown a willingness to use these weapons, including during a 2020 attack on U.S. forces in Iraq and in attacks against Israel in April and October 2024. Iran's cyber operations and capabilities also present a serious threat to U.S. networks and data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
That all happening, and Donald Trump then says, I don't care what she said. I don't care what she said. Hold on just a second. I don't care what she said, Trump told reporters. I think they were very close to having a nuclear weapon. And she decides to step down because times get hard. It's just the fact that she went from being an outspoken critic of foreign intervention to becoming director of national intelligence just to then cuck herself to Donald Trump, who started a war in Iran, and now she's stepping down instead of standing up to him. Massive disrespect for her. Massive disrespect. I'm sorry that her husband has a cancer diagnosis. That's awful. But the reason, it seems like she's being pushed out. I would have had so much respect for her if she came out swinging against the president. Also, Tulsi Gabbard at one point literally started selling shirts that says, no war with Iran. Get our troops out of Iraq and Syria now. Look at this. She sold shirts that said no war with Iran. Yet, here we are. Except, I'm sorry, it's not a war. It's an excursion. It's an excursion. I find the hypocrisy astounding. Astounding, humiliating. It's gross. Nevertheless, this is what her... I don't know if you can still buy it, but this was what it looked like. Tulsi 2020, no war with Iran shirt. $25. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. So, I really wanted to bring all of that to light here about Tulsi Gabbard, just because, I mean, she's stepping down, resigning as the Director of National Intelligence. I wonder if she's been really trying to steer the president away from this Iran war, but I mean, good luck with that. Trump does not care. Trump doesn't care about anything other than what he wants. He doesn't care about the stabilization of a country. He doesn't care about what it does. He says, as I pointed out, affordability is a con job made up by the Democrats. He says that he doesn't even care a little bit about Americans' financial situations, about the Iran war. He says that he doesn't care about the midterms and how it's going to, how his actions are going to affect the midterms. Which, cool, karma, you made your bed, now lie in it. So he does not care about America. Trump literally is the exact opposite of what MAGA believes. He is literally an active destructive force in this country. He does not care about you. He does not care about anyone other than himself and what he wants. What he wants is literally to blow up more and more crap in Iran. Now, that doesn't make me on Iran's side. No. But, you know, we could have had the deal stay in place, the Iran nuclear deal. For those people who don't know, the Iran nuclear deal literally was negotiated saying that Iran was accepting excessive amounts of surveillance into their nuclear enrichment capacities from France, from Germany, from Russia, from China, from the UK, and from the United States, in exchange for all those countries lifting sanctions on their economy. Meaning that Iran could actually start trading, benefiting, increase their GDP, be a competitor on the global stage, as long as they were developing a nuclear weapon. Guess what? Guess who tore up that agreement? It was Donald Trump. So you're leading Iran into doing a situation where they might start to develop a nuclear weapon, perhaps. Now, Tulsi Gabbard was like, there's no evidence to show that they're doing that, but Donald Trump decides to assume that they are anyway, decides to bomb them. And it's like, what are we doing? So now she steps aside when times get tough instead of standing up to the man. Absolute hypocrite. Absolute hypocrite. She lost all kudos. She lost all of her integrity. And now Tulsi Gabbard resigning as Director of National Intelligence because of this, it gets into the next segment where we're going to talk about J.D. Vance. Because there's some rumblings. There's some rumblings about J.D. Vance. So we'll get into this. Someone said, hi, brother. I wonder if that's my actual brother. That'd be so funny. I don't think it is. But nevertheless, let me go ahead here. Hold on. Okay. All right. Let me move on to the next segment here. I love all of you. Please make sure to send some likes. Let's talk about J.D. Vance. Give me a second. Hold on. Gotta clip this. Oh my goodness gracious, y'all. Okay. Now, before I start this segment, there are rumors. This is not evidence. There are rumors, some speculation, but that is not factual evidence. So take with what I'm saying as not absolute truth. Though, I am going to then be providing some sources and some information to back up why and what I think regarding this, which will be a little bit speculative. But, nevertheless, J.D. Vance dismisses claims of growing divide within Donald Trump's inner circle. Apparently, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are starting to grow apart. Which I'm not surprised by, though it is just interesting. J.D. Vance, at one point, the vice president, said that Donald Trump's best foreign policy, his best policy, was starting no new wars. You know? He said no new wars. Trump's best foreign policy? Not starting any foreign wars. This was an op-ed published. Oh, look at Joe Biden. Haven't seen him in forever. On January 31st of 2023. Trump's best foreign policy? Not starting any wars. how did that turn out? So J.D. Vance has egg on his face because of being involved in this administration. Someone who constantly campaigned saying, hey, vote for Trump because you're not going to get any more foreign wars. Well, look how that turned out. Vance once wrote an op-ed claiming Trump's best foreign policy in his first term was not starting any foreign wars. And now, look where we are. So, all this being said, J.D. Vance hits back at a report that he's been isolated in White House and may drop his 2028 bid. There has been speculation that J.D. Vance may run for president in 2028. Go away, ads. Boo, ads. Boo. And so J.D. Vance hit back at claims that he is no longer making a bid for the Oval Office in 2028, following Tulsi Gabbard's resignation as National Intelligence Director. This is why I talked about Tulsi Gabbard in the previous segment. So Tulsi Gabbard was non-interventionist and then completely cucked herself to Trump, then deciding to pivot and hide behind it, like somehow that was any sort of, that was worthy of integrity or whatever. Nevertheless, Gabbard's resignation was publicly cited due to her husband's bone cancer diagnosis. However, she has been widely reported and sidelined from central foreign policy debates due to her differences with the administration. At one point, Tulsi Gabbard even sold shirts that said, "No new wars." No new wars. So, and when Tulsi Gabbard was like, we shouldn't be in a war with Iran, here's the no war with Iran shirt. So J.D. Vance apparently is kind of upset because now the administration that, ran on no new wars has decided to pivot and become the Iran war administration. Honestly, Trump has become the tariff, ballroom, Iran war administration. MAGA, is that what you voted for? Because, to my knowledge, that's not what you voted for. You voted for America First, which is not a bad idea in theory, but when you trust Trump about it, why? He's a con man. He's ripped off his contractors ever since, even before starting in politics. You really trust that man? Why? Why? Nevertheless, there's been a growing divide between J.D. Vance and Donald Trump because J.D. Vance is like, this looks bad for us. We can't run as non-interventionist, then turn around and become interventionist. So, Vice President J.D. Vance has denied claims that he's been isolated from President Donald Trump's inner circle. This comes as J.D. Vance's potential 2028 presidential bid faces scrutiny following resignations from Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard, whose last day will be June 30th. Gabbard announced her exit from the Trump administration, citing her husband's diagnosis with bone cancer, though the departure comes amid speculations about tension with Trump following his February 28th strike on Iran. Vance, a Yale Law graduate, reportedly lost what insiders call his most senior non-interventionist ally, according to the Daily Mail. Now, the Daily Mail, I don't have a subscription. I did not read the Daily Mail article. So it's behind a paywall. I'm not going to pay for it. A source close to the president told the outlet that Vance is a non-event in the West Wing. West Wing is where the president and vice president is, and so he's a non-event there. That's showing a divide. As J.D. Vance's influences decline, in turn, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a war hawk, Little Marco, once called by Donald Trump, has strengthened his position. He has been a diplomat serving since 2025. Diplomat is a strong word, meaning more like warmonger and war hawk. The 54-year-old is the acting national security advisor and a member of the Republican Party. Why do they have to feel like they have to mention he's a member of the Republican Party? Because they all are. A White House advisor was quoted in the Daily Mail saying Rubio has more mojo than Vance. President listens to him. Vance is out of step and has been for a long time. Another source close to Vance said anyone who wants to be viable nominee for president has to be a very small window. And if you don't go when that window is open, it most likely will never open up again. And let me just also point this out here. J.D. Vance, it really, really does show his hypocrisy here. He completely cucked himself out to Donald Trump, saying that no new wars, that is the best policy that Trump has. And, it just has, his comments have not aged well. It's like old milk in the sun. It has not aged well.
What we've said to the Iranians is we do not want war with Iran. We actually want peace. But we want peace in the context of them not having a nuclear weapons program. And that's exactly what the president accomplished last night.
That's exactly what the president accomplished last night. June 22nd of 2025. Almost a whole year later, and we still have not accomplished that. He has egg on his face.
Daughters are young, but when
And this is what he said during the campaign trail.
But when people like Kamala Harris send our sons and daughters, our young people, to fight in stupid wars, it is the young generation that carries the burden of that. We're going to stop sending our young people to faraway lands. We are not the policemen of the world. We need to use our young people here at home. But when people like Kamala Harris send our sons and daughters, our young people...
So of course there's a growing rift between Donald Trump and JD Vance. When Donald Trump literally goes against all of what he said, because he's a narcissistic sociopath that doesn't care about anyone else, or his actions affect a whole country of people, you know. So it's interesting when he says, oh, Trump's best foreign policy, no new foreign wars. He has massively stepped in it. And so, of course, there's a growing divide.
To fight in stupid wars, it is the young generation that carries the burden of that. We're going to...
I agree. It is the young generation that carries the burden of that. So why are you a part of administration and been pretty silent? Like, JD Vance has been very silent and even defending Donald Trump in this war. His hypocrisy is astounding if it wasn't so humiliating.
Stop sending our young people to faraway lands. We are not the policemen of the world.
I mean...
The fraud czar, what's your reaction to that title? And then second, given your past skepticism of foreign adventurism, are you completely on board with the current war in Iran?
So I like fraud czar. It's certainly what we're going to do. And look, we have to do it. As the president said, this is a problem that has festered in this country for far too long.
On a side note, fraud czar... Okay, first of all, Donald Trump has pardoned so many people convicted of fraud. So, you're going to claim that you're the fraud czar? I would say that makes massive sense. Maybe not how they're intending it, but makes massive sense.
And far too few people have actually wanted to do anything about it. That's what makes this administration different, is that we actually tackle the problems the American people have been confronting. So I'm very happy about it. And look, I think that I know what you're trying to do, Phil. You're trying to drive a wedge between members of the administration, between me and the president. What the president said consistently, going back to 2015, and I agreed with him, is that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. We have taken this military action.
If you don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, a lot of people agree with that. So why did Donald Trump rip up the Iran nuclear deal? Why? It was stopping them from having a nuclear weapon. Because you had massive amounts of surveillance from France, the UK, China, Germany, Russia, and the United States. All of these countries had permission and surveillance over Iran and their nuclear enrichment program in exchange that Iran... all of their sanctions were lifted in those countries. That was the Iran nuclear deal. Trump tore that up. It was stopping Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. So now you claim that we have to bomb them in order to stop them from having a nuclear weapon? Girl, why did you tear up the agreement? Just because it had Obama's signature on it?
Under the president's leadership, I think all of us, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, should pray for success and pray for the safety of our troops. That's the approach that I've taken. Make it as successful as possible.
So there's no hesitation, given your past statements, with the current operation?
What do you mean there's no hesitation with my past statements?
Given your...
I'll show you.
We need to use our young people here at home. But when people like Kamala Harris send our sons and daughters, our young people, to fight in stupid wars, it is the young generation that carries the burden of that. We're going to stop sending our young people to faraway lands. We are not the policemen of the world. We need to use our young people here at home.
Skepticism of foreign adventurism, you were a critic of the global war on terror previously.
Well, I think one big difference, Phil, is that we have a smart president, whereas in the past we've had dumb presidents, and I trust President Trump.
Because previous presidents were all dumb. They were all dumb. Duh. Haven't you seen that? That, like, clearly they were all stupid. He's such a cuck. He's such a cuck. Like,
interest, I think, very much. Our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran, right? It would be a huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country. Our interest.
But back then we had stupid presidents. So when a president declares war on Iran this time, because Donald Trump is not a stupid president, then I guess it's because we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, which we could have also avoided if we had kept the Iran nuclear deal. But nevertheless, we tear up the agreement, then we let them perhaps enrich uranium without supervision, perhaps build a nuclear weapon, and then now get mad at them for doing that exact same thing. It's like Donald Trump pisses in the punch bowl and then starts to drink it and then gets mad that all of a sudden that it tastes bad. Like, that's what it's giving. And yet we are all now forced to drink the crap punch. That's what America is like. Donald Trump excessively messes, breaks stuff, and then we all have to deal with the consequences. MAGA, are we winning yet? Are we winning yet? So again, it's not surprising that the Daily Mail has come out with this piece basically saying that, yeah, Vance considers abandoning his run for president in 2028 because he's reading the tea leaves like, yeah, the hypocrisy is astounding. I don't want to be tied to this kind of thing. So why does he look like this? I want to get some people's comments in here. Hold on. I don't know if this is real. This looks AI. This is what happened. Don't run for president. Yes, Daddy. Deep throat that girl. No, I don't want to see that. Ew. This guy is not qualified. No, he's not. Vote no to anyone on AIPAC payroll. 100%. Yeah. Okay, the comments are not cooking, but you know, so there's a growing divide between the president and the vice president right now. And, you know, JD Vance, we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see what ends up happening there. But let's get to some other stories here. Please make sure to send some likes. How are we doing in the chat here? I appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to X out of some of these here. Hold on. Sorry, I'm exiting out of a lot of different things. Give me a sec. I'm keeping that up. Okay. All right. Okay. Brian, you don't have to announce your departure. Scroll on. Yeah, dude, scroll on. You don't like the live? Go ahead. Just scroll on. Seriously, genuinely, go have a wonderful day. You don't have to be here. No one's forcing you to be here. So anyway, all right. I'm going to cover a couple other stories here, and then we will be, unfortunately, ending the live because then I'll have to get to work. So, okay. I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger here. How are we liking the setup? I think I'm going to stay vertical, though I'm wondering, actually, really quickly, I want to make sure and ask this while we have some people here. So, question. If you all go and look at my YouTube videos, do you see my thumbnails? Do you see the graphics that come in there? Because right now, I don't know if I should have horizontal thumbnails or vertical thumbnails. Can you all answer in the chat here? Should I have horizontal like pictures for my videos or vertical ones? Because I did a vertical one today for the live stream. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but I do need y'all's feedback on that. So do you all see my thumbnails and thumbnails for my videos when it's like on the browse, like when it's on the, like when you're scrolling through? Because I don't know if it's showing up. I don't know if it's showing up, which has been frustrating for me. I also don't know if I should do them horizontal or vertical, so let me know. Thank you for sending in the little sparkles. That's so cute. I love sparkles. Sparkles are so fun. All right. So let's get into some other, I just find you from subbing. Aw, that's cool. Definitely horizontal, too small otherwise. Okay. Interesting. You never looked at your own thumbnails after posting? Go incognito. Yeah, no, I have. I have another YouTube account that I go through, and I actually go and look at my page from a user. But what it ends up doing is it doesn't show my thumbnails on my browse feed. So it ends up showing like it doesn't show the actual thumbnail itself. It just shows like a other precondition for the video, which I'm really frustrated with because I'm like, it's not showing the thumbnails that I put on the video. Then it's like, okay, then people don't want to click on it and watch it. And I'm like, ah. So I don't know why that's happening. So anyway, definitely horizontal, too small otherwise. Okay. Even if my videos are vertical, I should do it horizontal. Okay. I trust you, Jay. All right, let's talk about some other things here. I'm getting hungry. What are you hiding on that other account? Secrets. It's my user account. So, I do have YouTube Premium on that account. And so that's where like I have my own algorithm of stuff that I like to watch. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about this here. Now, I've seen a little bit of these couple stories that I'm about to cover, but I have not fully read all of it all the way through. Yes, thumbnails are important. Yeah. So I should keep them horizontal then, because my last one is vertical, thinking that a lot of people. So, okay, as a quick little side, I know this is housekeeping stuff. 80% of the people who watch my channel watch it on their phone. So I'm thinking that maybe I should do vertical thumbnails because then it will show it when you go and browse on the phone. Except here's the thing. Whenever I do that, it doesn't end up showing my thumbnail. When I'm on my user account, and when it's on my user account, I never see the thumbnail. I see like a video cover that doesn't look like it's the video. So anyway, it's interesting there. Yes, we can see you and the headline when it's horizontal. Okay, cool. Every thumbnail should have the same baby hands. What, these? Okay, so I'll start doing them horizontal again. I just, like, when I'm scrolling through, do you all know what I mean? When you're scrolling through on your home page and you're going through and you're looking, what it ends up showing me, on my user that it's the video without the thumbnail. And it's a vertical version. So I guess I'll start doing it horizontal again. Yeah. I love that. Y'all come for the vibes and stay for the news. So, okay. Let's go ahead and get to this here. Okay. This is my raw and organic reaction to this story. I have not fully read this all the way through. So, let's get into it. Trump refiles $10 billion lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal over Jeffrey Epstein birthday card. I feel like it's been forever since we've talked about Jeffrey Epstein. You know, that whole thing? Trump is so clearly involved in that. It's crazy. President Donald Trump has refiled his $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal over reporting likening him to an alleged birthday card to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein that purportedly carried his signature. The lawsuit filed Wednesday in federal court in Miami marks the president's second attempt to sue Rupert Murdoch, the owned newspaper. U.S. District Court Judge Darren Gales dismissed Trump's first complaint in April, ruling it failed to satisfy the actual malice standard requirement in defamation suits. The newspaper first reported on the document last July, said that it was signed by Trump and included a sexually suggestive drawing of a woman and a message reading, "Happy birthday. May every day be another wonderful secret." Hold on. Let me open this link in a new tab. I want to see the... no, it's behind a paywall. Boo. Boo. Does it have it down here? Hold on. Trump let me look it up. Trump birthday card Epstein. Hold on. I want to see the image. Yeah, it's clearly Donald Trump's signature, y'all. It's clearly Donald Trump's signature. So, anyway. But apparently Trump has refiled to sue because of this. So, that's interesting. The drawing was a part of a 50th birthday album for Epstein compiled in 2003. His accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving a 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking, according to the Journal. Trump has consistently denied any connection to the document, rejecting claims that he authored the letter or that his signature is his, slammed the report before taking legal action. The fact that he's refiled this lawsuit again, basically to me, proves that, yeah, he clearly knows. He clearly did it. It's clearly something that he did. Nah, man, that was a fake auto pen. LOL. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. Like this, imagine trying to sue an outlet for defamation when they report a story that you don't like just because it makes you look bad. If Joe Biden were to do that, that would be laughable. Trump does it, and MAGA's like, he's the best president ever. Like, girl. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I mean, how do you go about that? So that's another interesting story here. Before I end the live stream today, I do want to talk about this. So I know that was a brief little story here, so I'm gonna let me quickly clip that, okay? I want to talk about James Tallarico. Give me a second, hold on. Okay. I want to talk about James Tallarico and Republicans' weird obsession with James Tallarico. I mean, they're trying to give him all these, like, weird names. And it's honestly just cringeworthy. Ken Paxton constantly is, like, trying to claim that he's vegan, which doesn't seem to be true, and also claim a lot of weird stuff about, like, sex and gender. And I'm like, ew, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Jesse Waters mocks James Tallarico's totally not fake girlfriend. Does she exist? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought James Tallarico was gay. So, I don't know what that is. And honestly, I don't care his sexuality. I just thought that he was. Fox News host Jesse Waters mocked Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico love life on Wednesday, heavily implying that the state senator is lying about having a girlfriend by asking, does she even exist? This is what Fox is focusing on. Not affordability, not trying to lower drug prices, not trying to increase affordable housing, not tackling gun violence, not talking about the economy, not trying to increase transparency in government, get money out of elections, not trying to tackle the climate crisis that we continue to shove to the back burner. They're talking about whether James Tallarico has a girlfriend. And this is the same publication that constantly obsesses over non-issue culture war crap. And it's like, it's so embarrassing that people treat this as like a source for truth. Anyway, The host made remarks on The Five during a segment on Tallarico in light of Tuesday night's primary, which saw Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton defeat Senator John Cornyn in the special runoff election. Now, the scandal-ridden Ken Paxton had snagged President Donald Trump's unexpected endorsement. I wouldn't say unexpected. Last week, a move that triggered widespread backlash from many within his own party. Paxton is now set to face Tallarico in November, and both have already gone on the offensive. Waters went on an extended weird rant against James Tallarico, calling him effeminate and mocking his attempts to beat back allegations of being a vegan. Why does being a vegan matter? Genuinely. Why does being a vegan matter? Trying to make a scandal like that out of someone's... And, like, he's not. But what if he was? So? What would that have to do with anything? Trying to, like, calling him effeminate? I think that most people, I hope that most people, regardless of political affiliation, can see through this crap, and it's just like, so what if hypothetically he was effeminate? So what if he was gay? So what if he liked if he liked tofu? What if he was vegan? Does that tackle affordability? Does that call out the corruption of the Epstein class and billionaires? Does that get us closer to a universal healthcare system, tackling the climate crisis, ending our involvement in foreign wars? It's just like, it's so embarrassing. He then turned to a candidate's dating life, noting a recent interview Tallarico gave in which he discussed his partner and his choice to keep her identity private. What I'm trying to do is protect her and my family and my friends from impacts of this race. Okay, so he might be LGBTQ, but he definitely has a girlfriend. That's cool. Tallarico said on the Jamie Kern Lima podcast, I signed up to run for the U.S. Senate. Obviously, they did not. So I'm trying to balance running this race while also protecting them and protecting her in particular. Like, that's laudable. Like, okay. Waters is like, he's also a 37 and not married. Let's get into this. He says he recently has a girlfriend. They've been together for years. For 4 years. He called her his best friend. She was his rock, blah, 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 blah. Gutfeld's like, does she live in Canada? Does she live in Canada? She lives now, if the campaign only has been going on for less than a year. Like, what are they doing? These are, okay, pause. These are grown men. Grown men. These guys are obviously older than Tallarico, who's a 37-year-old, so he's a younger guy. These are grown men debating over whether a younger Senate candidate is a vegan, has a girlfriend. They're obsessing over that, and they made it into a news story. These people are so humiliating. I'm embarrassed for them. How do they not shrivel into a raisin from embarrassment? Like, these people expect to be then seen as, like, credible news sources? Girl. Like, it's so humiliating for them. It's so humiliating. Let me also go, hold on. Where was it? Give me a second, hold on. Ken Paxton went on this, like, weird rant. Ken Paxton went on this weird rant recently where was it? Hold on, I'm so sorry. Look away if your eyes are visually sensitive. About James Tallarico. Where is it? Here.
This campaign is not about red versus blue. It's about so much more. My opponent is the most extreme radical the Democrats have ever nominated. He's even running a vegan campaign, whatever that is. He goes by a few names that you may all have heard of. Some people know him as Tofu Tallarico. Some people call him Six Gender Jimmy. I've even heard some...
These are grown men and women older than James Tallarico. that are laughing at him, supposedly, for liking tofu, or perhaps being vegan, which he isn't. But also, like, how are you not embarrassed by this behavior? These people are vile and cruel and stupid.
People call him James Telefrico. And others refer to him simply as Low T Tellerico.
Ew. Like, just ew. Imagine not running a substantive campaign and all you rely on is endless amounts of name-calling, fear-mongering around someone's mere existence. Like, okay. First off, James Tellerico is not a vegan. Secondly, even if he was, would that matter? Would that matter? Like, not running a substantive campaign about trying to then fix any issues. It's just stupid. Like, it's just stupid. Hold on, where is it? The Democrats made history by nominating their first transgender Senate candidate, said Stephen Miller, advisor to the president. He's not trans. Like, and even if he was, would that matter? The Trump administration is so scared of losing the Senate, they're literally spreading blatant lies about James Tellerico. They're so desperate. Like, it's just so, their hatred is this weird fetish. Like, they have a weird fetish of literally trying to, like, hate on a younger 37-year-old, eloquent, talking candidate running for Senate in Texas. Like, it's a hate fetish.
You know, they've already began their attacks on you, and, you know, some of the kind of, you know, weirdest, you know, and bizarre ones, they're like, he's a vegan. They don't even know how to say that. He's a vegan, and you're not, you know, and then they go, let's call him tofu, man. Let's call him tofu. And which is ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. I want to hear your response to just kind of not that, but just in general, you know, stepping into this and seeing, you know, what they're doing when they put $1 trillion media machine behind attacking you. But my thesis ultimately is, you know, maybe that stuff worked 2 years ago or 3 years ago when people were also being pitched, we're going to make your life so much better and it's going to be affordable on day one and we're going to do so much things, it's going to be great. But like, the bill is now due, and I think whether you're in Texas or whatever, you're like, okay, you promised me this stuff. It ain't happening right now, and you're not gonna just divide and... I get it. You're not gonna make me vote for you by saying the word tofu over and over again. Like, where the heck is my Doge dividend check that you promised? And where's my savings that you promised me? You screwed me.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, I'm an 8th generation Texan. I've been eating barbecue since before Ken Paxton's first indictment. And if all they have on me is lying about me being a vegan, I feel pretty good about our chances this November. And you're absolutely right. You know, so many of my family members, my friends, my neighbors who voted for Donald Trump in 2024, they voted for him because they thought he was going to lower costs. They thought he was going to end the forever wars. They thought he was going to release the Epstein files and drain the swamp. But just 1 year later, they've seen how he's done the exact opposite.
Yeah. So I like his response. Like, if all they have is trying to lie about me being a vegan, then, like, that's pretty sad and pathetic. Nevertheless, I see a super chat in here. Love you, Scott. It would mean the world. It would mean the world of you to wish me and my husband happy 25th anniversary. So, hold on. Let me make myself a little bit bigger here. C-Bar and beautiful husband, the happiest of anniversary, 25th anniversary to you both. You all are amazing, and I hope you all are doing well. I'm sending lots of love and good vibes to you all. I know it's a special 25th landmark anniversary, so please do something fun together and do something special. And you have all of me and everyone in here sharing lots of love and good vibes. and we're celebrating you all. Much love out to Middle Country. Y'all are incredible. So anyway, happy 25th! Woo! Yay! C-Bar is a really good friend of the live. So happy anniversary. That is so sweet. Y'all are amazing. So yay! Oh, look at all the support in the chat too. Happy anniversary. Yeah, the fact that that's the only thing, it's the only thing that they have on James Tallarico is they're like, he's a vegan. Which he's not. Even if that was the case, like, whoop-de-doo, trying to lower the cost for Americans over here. Like, when I run for Congress, and I'm telling you this outright. Hold on, let me make myself a little bit bigger here. Hold on. I'm telling you unilaterally right now, when I run for elected office, whether that's Congress or whatnot, when I run for office, they're going to try to make my existence into a scandal. They're like, oh, he's gay, or oh, he's a vegetarian, which I'm not a full vegetarian, but I do eat a lot of vegetarian food. They're going to even try to maybe claim that I'm like transgender or something like that. They're just going to spread lies about it. They're going to fearmonger over my mere existence. They're going to be like, he sounds effeminate. He has limp wrists. It's like, okay, but I'm sorry. Who wants to tax the billionaires? Who wants affordable healthcare for people in the form of a universal system that actually is going to then make the wealthiest pay their fair share and actually pay what they need to in order to, fund our country? I'm sorry. Who's the one that is advocating against foreign intervention overseas, wants to actually take care of domestic priorities? I'm sorry, who wants to actually fix the gun violence epidemic where we view it as mental health in addition to the prolific availability of guns leading to violence in this country? Like, okay, so what if I'm gay? So what if I have limp wrists? So what if I sound effeminate? Like, whoop-de-doo! Whoop-de-doo! What if I was a vegan? Who cares? Who cares? These people have nothing. They fearmonger about Black Santa on Christmas. They have nothing. Anyway, I just find it astounding. Oh my God, hold on. Let me fix it. Let me fix myself back here. It's just, they have nothing. So they're like weirdly like fear-mongering about James Tallarico. Like, I just find it astounding. Anyway, I love all of you. I do need to skedaddle. I need to get to work. Y'all are incredible. Before we end the live, do we just want to scroll through Twitter and see like some organic reactions to whatever we find? Hold on. Okay. Before we end the live stream today, I'm just going to go through and scroll on X, Twitter, whatever it is, to see what kind of crazy things we find. Because I started doing this at the end of the live stream, and I'm finding that it actually has been quite entertaining just to kind of be here in this space with you all. So, Scott live from his mama's basement. Actually, I'm not. I have my own apartment. But nevertheless, if I was live from my mama's basement, at least my mama wants me here. My parents and I have a really good relationship, so, but that's hilarious. Your weird hatred and obsession with trying to like hate on me is concerning. This is hilarious. As Attorney General Ken Paxton sued schools that didn't display the 10 Commandments. Oh my God. This is so stupid. Okay. Did you all know that there's a thing called the separation between church and state? This country was founded on the idea of a separation between government, how government officials run things in the country, and religion. It's called the Establishment Clause. The Establishment Clause is the first of several religious liberties guaranteed by the First Amendment in the Constitution. It strictly prohibits the government from establishing a national religion, endorsing a specific faith, or unduly favoring religion over non-religion. I just want to, hold on, Establishment Clause, Constitution, annotated. Let me find, let's see, hold on. I don't want the interpretation. I want the actual Establishment Clause. Where is it? Hold on. Give me a second, hold on. So, First Amendment. First Amendment says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, promoting the free exercise thereof, or abridging freedom of speech, all that stuff. Okay? The Establishment Clause basically says that there is no government-sponsored religion. Yet, when Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General, now Senate candidate, he sued schools that didn't display the Ten Commandments inside their classrooms. I'm sorry, having the Ten Commandments inside classrooms would be endorsing a religion. Schools are funded through government taxpayer money. Some of them, if you're a private religious school, that's different. That's different. So, the fact that Ken Paxton is trying to sue schools that don't display and endorse a religion, you're the one going against the Constitution, bucko. Now, here's the thing. If schools were to display the Ten Commandments, along with excerpts from the Quran or the Torah or other religious texts, and they were to say it's for educational purposes, then that's fine. If you have it in addition to all these other religious texts, then it wouldn't be a problem, because you're in an educational setting. The fact that the Ten Commandments is the only thing that is shown is implicitly and explicitly an endorsement. So the fact that Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued schools that did display the Ten Commandments, you're the one going against the Constitution, bucko. This country was founded as, if you all need a refresher, of course we stole the land from the Native Americans, but this country was also founded by people who were looking for religious liberty from the Church of England. The Church of England and the English monarchy, which it all kind of went together. People that immigrated over here, the first colonizers, a lot of them didn't want to then have a religion established within government. They're very, very, very anti having government sponsor a specific religion. And that's why they put in there, the government shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. So, I mean, Republicans, what is it like putting forward a guy who goes against the Constitution? Clearly you do not care about America. You don't. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Paxton allegedly had multiple extramarital affairs. Yep. Some of those commandments, yeah, you should follow those, buddy. Thou shalt not steal. Paxton was indicted for felony securities fraud and impeached for misusing public resources. Yeah. It'd be nice. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe we should allow the Ten Commandments in all the schools, because maybe, just maybe, Ken Paxton will be reminded of all the commandments that he's broken. Maybe he just needs a reminder because he doesn't know what's in the Bible. He doesn't read it. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Paxton was impeached for making false statements in official records. Oh, God, what an embarrassment. Let's see if the comments are cooking. Hold on. Yeah, if your version of Christianity wants to put the Ten Commandments in schools but take free lunches out of them, you are worshiping something other than Jesus. Oh, spitting facts right there. Okay, spitting facts. The fact that, and I love how this is coming from a church. Because here's the thing. Right-wing Christianity has completely hijacked the real purpose of religion. Jesus was woke. Jesus was woke. He wanted what was best for everyone. Jesus said, welcome the foreigner, accept the sojourner, help the widow. Yet, a lot of times, right-wing Republicans don't do those things. Right now, right-wing Republicans in MAGA have completely weaponized ICE as a Gestapo, a terroristic force to go around and rip apart families just because they might be undocumented. That's not, like, I could look up all these Bible verses that talk about welcoming the stranger. Hold on. Bible verses talking about welcoming the stranger, welcoming foreigners. You shall not oppress a sojourner. You know the heart of a sojourner, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. Sojourner just means like a foreigner or someone not native to a piece of land. The Bible says don't oppress them. Yet, right-wing Christians think that there's no problems with ICE tearing apart families. You shall also love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Yeah, maybe that's why they want the 10 Commandments, because they can't remember them. So they have to have them in schools, just for them to break them and go against what the actual religion talks about. I mean, it's sad because Christianity has been completely bigoted and hijacked by MAGA to then be just a culture of cultist high, getting high off of your vibes of like, oh, I love Jesus, but you don't actually follow what he says. It's really bad. Like, genuinely, I think that the devil has gone and worked through MAGA. And I'm not sure where I am with my religious journey, but the devil has literally definitely been at work through MAGA to completely bigot the purpose of religion. Like, when you look at it, it's sad. When a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong. You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as a native among you. I would just love for ICE to look at this. ICE to look at this. This is why, okay, maybe this would be a wild take. I don't care excessively about citizenship. I genuinely don't. I think it's important to have an official stamp of whether you are a citizen or not. Though, when it comes to living, when it comes to running a society, I'm sorry, but citizenship is not the only thing that matters. In fact, I care way more about all these other things than citizenship. A lot of people in this country, just because they're not citizens, is not a reason for us to then fear them or oppress them. I believe that we should welcome the stranger. We should allow whoever lives within this country to have a voice on what happens to it, whether you're an official citizen or not. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't care about the citizenship process. We should make it easier, have a robust system to then make it easier to become a citizen. Also, to process people quickly, because right now we have an immigration system that is so backlogged to the point where it can take up to even 8 to 10 years before someone who is undocumented just to have their case heard in front of a judge. So, the fact that right-wing Christians do not live up to it, this is why Christianity gets a bad rap. Pick and choose Christians when you don't actually look at what the Bible says. The Bible is a woke document. Don't blame the Bible. Follow it. Curses anyone who withholds justice from the foreigner, the faithless, or the widow. Like, I just find it astounding. I find it astounding. Anyway, let's go back to the comments here. This is what Christian nationalism looks like. Use religion as a political tool, forcing it onto everyone else, then acting in ways completely incompatible with the teachings you claim to defend. The hypocrisy is the point. You cannot be MAGA and be a Christian at the same time. Truly. You might be a Christian culturally within your Bible study and your groups and getting high off of Jesus vibes. I'm saying this as someone who grew up in a very Christian family, but you cannot follow Christianity and be MAGA at the same time. It is a contradiction that is so obvious. And It's disgusting. If you believe that teaching about a God in public schools will improve people's morality, you need to explain why it doesn't work in a church. Committed adultery, impeached for corruption, abused his office, had an affair, impeached, corruption. Ken Paxton, deep man of faith? Not really. Yeah. Did you mention that he's slimy? Not slimy. I mean, he's cheated on his wife. Not to say that, like, you can't make a mistake and own up to it, but, like, he's had extramarital affairs. He wants the 10 Commandments to be in school so he can finally remember them. It's just... Anyway. I appreciate every single one of you. Y'all are awesome. I am going to go ahead and get going here, though. Y'all are amazing. So, thank you all for all the feedback in the chat, too, about different things. So, is there anything that I need to know before I go? So, I appreciate every single one of you. I definitely will be posting more and more content, so please go and view it. I posted a video early this morning, so please go and check that out. It's really good. It's a clip from my live stream. All of my videos are always clips from my live stream. It's just more eloquent because I've taken out all the dead space and such. I was the fastest swimmer. Me too. My mom had her tubes tied, and yet I was still born. Fun fact. I was the fastest swimmer. Anyway, I appreciate every single one of you. Y'all are amazing. I need to get going. I need to skedaddle. So, shout out to my amazing moderators in here. Elisa, Cantiguin. Y'all are amazing. Akicha. Let's see who else was in here. And also, please, Jay, I love you, Jay. You're awesome. Please give me some feedback in my videos. If you have a message for me about anything that I raised today, please comment it on my videos. Y'all are amazing. So, anyway, just remember that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are valid, you are strong, and you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything or any algorithm ever dim your shine. I love all of you so much. Bye! Oh, I don't exit up here. I exit down here now.